I started using a Steadicam back in the late '70s. You know, when the Steadicam first came out. You know, I used to be well, I still do, but I just don't do it as much. I was a crane operator for many years. I've done every type of camera there is. You know, when you grow up in a network and stuff, you do everything. You do pedestal work, you do handheld work, and going back a little bit to CBS, the good thing about CBS for me was that I came at a time where CBS started, like I said before, they started adding crews because they started doing a lot of outside production. Uh, so so I was one of the youngest guys there, and the good thing was that I had a lot of guys to teach me a lot of stuff. The older camera guys took me under their wing, and they taught me a lot. But also give me the ability that because they were that much older, I was the young kid, they kind of were hesitant about trying new things. So when the handheld started to come out, it was, give it to, let the kid do it, let the kid do it. So I always wanted to do it. I always had a fascination with all these cameras and stuff, so I wanted to do it. So they gave me the opportunity to learn and to do all this work. So I started doing Steadicam when it first came out because it was introduced in the late '70s, and they brought it to CBS and they said, "Hey, who wants to do this?" And of course, they all looked at me and said, "He wants to do it." So I said, "Okay." So I started doing it at CBS, and I've been doing it ever since.
Was it difficult to learn how to
It
use?
was difficult to learn. Yeah, it's a piece of equipment that it takes. It's not for everybody, because it takes a certain kind of individual really to learn how to do it. It takes, you have to be kind of very coordinated, and there's a lot to it that you need to do. So it's difficult. Yeah.
Can you explain how it works, how the Steadicam works?
The Steadicam, what gives you is it gives you the ability to do moving shots without, you can do moving shots with a handheld, but then you have the jerkiness or the movement of the camera, the shakiness of the camera of a handheld guy, because it's hard to keep it still. The Steadicam gives you the ability to move around, to run, to do certain things without having that shakiness. And it gives you the ability to do moving smooth shots, and to get to places where you can't get another camera, And it works by a system of there's a vest that I wear. To the vest, there's an attachment of an arm that has springs. And the springs take the load of the post. The camera sits on a platform with a post and a battery underneath, and it's counterweighted. So that structure is hooked up to a gimbal, which isolates the whole camera and the whole post and everything from my body. So I can move and do whatever, run, walk upstairs, do things without moving the camera at all. So all I have to do is just, point it and zoom it and frame it and just and keep it still.
So how much does this weigh?
It can weigh anywhere between 60 to 90, 100 pounds, depending on the setup that you have. With a film camera, it could be over 100 pounds, but anywhere between 60 and 100 pounds.
And has that evolved over the years?
Yes, tremendously, yes. The first one that I used at CBS in the '70s was very crude form of it and stuff, and very difficult for us, because also technology has now given way to be able to use the Steadicam in a much better way, an easier way than we had when it was in the '70s. Because in the '70s, the cameras had all these cables, big cables, thick cables, which kind of was hard to balance the equipment, balance the Steadicam. The Steadicam needs to be perfectly balanced. And with the cables and everything that were hooked up to us, in those days, remember, there were no wireless for this kind of equipment. So it was difficult for us to use it in television. It was a lot easier on film because the film camera didn't need any cables, needed anything. It was a camera all by itself. So it was easier to balance, easier to work than television cameras. But the new equipment has really helped tremendously.